I think we'd like to try. You regret saying yes. So you're like, yeah, no.
Salt's Third Wheel Dates might be the most hands-on dating show you've ever seen, because not only do we do the matching, we rock up on the date too. And I, Lauren Windle, will be playing Gooseberry and helping people find love. If everyone gets on well, they can go off on an IRL date in real life. But if not, they can select URL, and we'll put a link at the bottom of the show so that viewers can apply to date them. When it comes to hobbies, this guy's got 'em. He likes film, reading, and of course, music.
I like to bake, go ice skating, and host dinner parties.
Rory's 33 and comes from Eastbourne, where he helps shape young minds as a teacher. While Sophie's 28 and comes from Ledbury, she's the founder and CEO of an online virtual assistant business. Ooh, fancy.
What makes me a great partner is that I am deeply serious, but with a lightness of spirit. I'm quite loyal and I'm quite easygoing, really. So
I'm quite organised. I like having adventures and making memories.
So what I love to find in a partner is someone with absolute genuineness, that you do what they say what they mean, and it's clear that, you know, they have your back.
Generosity, it shows that someone is kind and caring and is thinking about other people. What's
a real big turn off for me is just when someone's talking all the time, they're not leaving room for questions, not leaving room for discovery, because I find the way I love people is by asking questions, being curious about them, and if they're not allowing me to be curious about them, they're not going to be curious about me.
Arrogance, just someone who thinks they're a bit full of themselves and is not very teachable or wants to learn and grow.
My celebrity crush would be Emma Stone, the actress, and we'd go in a Ford Mustang, through the American South, hopefully it's open top, and on a wee road trip, and along the way we'll visit some American historical sites.
Channing Tatum, and I'd love to go to Hawaii because I've never been, and we would go surfing as a fun activity to do.
On the one hand, we've got him with his depth and his humour, and then we have her with her warmth and her lightness, and I would say I'd be surprised if they felt a romantic connection. I'm pretty sure they won't, but I just love to be surprised.
Great, you're great.
Hello! Singing, worm, what's the other one? Oh, I like to make people hold hands, just to foster real connection. And I haven't done that in a while. Do you feel like you want to interlock? Let's give it a whirl. Let's just give it a whirl. Oh, both hands, yes, okay. The doubler, I like to call that.
Okay.
Oh. No, yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Oh. Does it feel...
Who taught these two how to hold hands?
Just take a moment to gaze into each other's eyes. I'm not here, they're not here, the cameras aren't here. This is your non-awkward date. So one of your hobbies is ice skating?
Yes, it is.
Tell us about that. Rory's keen to know.
Okay, I took up ice skating about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted kind of a new hobby to try. I kind of like ice skating, done it a couple of times, and I thought, well, we'll give it a go. We'll take a couple of lessons just to get a little bit more confident. I've been doing it for about 2 years, so just finished so I've done level 1 to 8 and just finished bronze. So we're into the spins and starting to do a few jumps now. So,
gosh,
really got into it. I thought I'd just give it a go, but yeah, fallen in love. And
love that. What are you like on the ice?
Oh, I'm a bit like Bambi, if I'm honest. It should be in my genes because I'm partly Dutch, but I don't think it passed on, if I'm honest.
Are the Dutch big ice skaters?
Oh, they ice skate on canals and everything.
Oh, sorry, of course they do, yeah.
Winter
For a
time.
second I was like, okay,
well,
but no, I think
they win
right.
a lot of Olympic golds because of that.
What's your favourite ice skating move?
Well, I'm trying to learn a waltz jump at the moment, so it's
what would that look like off ice?
It's kind of like a 180 turn as you jump.
Wow.
I think we'd like to try. You regret saying yes, so you're like, yeah, no.
You put your arms out like this.
Lovely.
And you bend, lots of bending these. So you're basically skating backwards to a point where you're ready to take a step, ready to jump, and then you kind of jump up with your arms to help you with kind of the motion. Right. So you jump, and you step out.
Oh, that was great. It's like Swan Lake.
Can never remember if the girl is Torville or Dean. Either way, she's the girl one.
But it's not just you at the table who's got talents.
Okay.
I've got my grade 4 ice skating.
Have you?
But that's not about me. Rory has got his own podcast.
Oh yeah, I'm a co-host on a podcast, so I'm passionate about films and media, and actually I want to see that from a Christian worldview, so I've joined a podcast called Popcorn Theology. So we discuss media from a godly worldview, and we try to digest the art of our day without being just mindless consumers, you know. Yeah.
What's your theological perspective on Mean Girls?
Oh man, it's 100% kosher.
Okay, that's legit. That's biblical.
No,
Gospel message.
I'm joking. That's a very good question. I'd have to actually go look through it, but I have to say, I think, is it October 12th? Is the Mean Girls Day or something like that? Yeah. Oh man, I got that memorised.
October 12th.
I watched it a few too many times, I think.
Is it October 12th?
Or October 3rd.
On October 3rd, Aaron Samuels asked me the date. What's the date? It's October 3rd. Another fun thing about Rory is that you have starred in a Japanese recycling advert.
Yes, I have. This is a random story. I have lots of random stories. Random Rory, maybe one of my my many adjectives that attached to my name. So one time I was at uni, I got this random email from the student union, one of the student union execs, saying, help, we need some extras for this advert. Please come now, help. I'm like, I answered the call, got loaded onto a coach with 4 people on. Literally, that was all there was. And we went down, this is in Dundee where I used to study, and there's just a Japanese film crew and this guy in a yellow suit called Dandy Sakano, who apparently was a one-hit wonder in Japan with a really corny, cheesy, song called Gits. That's his catchphrase. Okay. You have to look up the YouTube video.
We will.
It was really bizarre because the premise was that they was for a recycling advert, and he was a one-hit wonder they wanted to recycle.
Oh gosh.
So where Dandy and Dundee,
poor guy.
Dundee sounds so similar. So why don't they do that? Come to visit Dundee, where they make a sort of funny video about him trying to get the affection of the city of Dundee and.
There you are, look at you laughing! I know it's sort of quite early in the day, but Sophie has a special skill, and not just the ice skating. She is a mixologist.
Mixologist? What's that?
I do like making cocktails.
Nice.
So I've got a little cocktail bar in my house. So whenever I've got friends or family over, I like to make different special cocktails for them or see what.
Do you ever work with non-alcoholic spirits?
Yeah, I do quite a few kind of non-alcoholic drinks too.
Perfect. Well, because I don't drink. Do you like a drink here and there?
My dad's brewed beer. He owned a brewery, so I'm very
you
much.
Owned a brewery. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Right. Okay. So not teetotal
No,
over there,
not.
and that's okay. But I have got an alcohol-free cocktail bar. Bring on the bar! I would love your recommendation. Make us a cocktail.
Okay, I'm a fan of gin, so we'll go with one of those.
I love
Great.
gin. Actually, I do like gin.
I'm going to eyeball these.
Eyeball. I've got jiggers.
Oh, okay, great.
Good.
But you can eyeball it.
I'll be safe and use
Yeah,
one of
okay,
these.
sure, yeah. Guys, cheers. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
We're like the Sex and the City gals after Samantha refused to carry on filming. This show is sponsored by Christians Who Curse Sometimes, where we love Jesus but also mess up and curse a little. Christians Who Curse Sometimes provides daily discussion topics, articles and resources to grow your faith and grow community by taking the online offline.
Well, do we have any snacks to go with our lovely cocktails? What have you guys brought with you?
Well, first, I'm not sure this is quite cocktail snack, but I brought some, in English they're caramel waffles, but in Dutch they're stroopwafels, and they usually have them with a cup of tea or coffee.
I think we can arrange a cup of tea.
Yeah, I think,
Right?
yeah.
Because I brought tea and biscuits.
Look at that, the synchronicity.
Yeah, fabulous. So you brought
These are Tim Tams.
Oh, Tim Tams.
So a little bit of a story behind them. I used to live in Australia for 3 years. So this was one of the go-to chocolate biscuits that you had to have when you're in Australia. It's probably very similar to a chocolate penguin that we have here, but I would say better.
Would you say better?
Yeah.
So these are both supposed to be influenced by the drink, right? So you pop.
Sorry.
Thanks.
There you go.
Pop that on top,
Yep, that's
and
right.
then the caramel. Am I getting this right?
That's correct. Yeah. That's right. You just
How
mint it
long?
till it's soft enough, but not soft enough to fall in, because you have to watch it. Otherwise, if you leave it too long, it'll just collapse in, just like a digestive. Not good.
So talk us through what a Tim Tam Slam is, and this is like a recreational activity of the Australians, right?
Native sport. Joking, it's not actually. So, a Tim Tam Slam is you take a biscuit. And
Also, can you hear a slight Aussie twang now that we've said that? As soon as you said it, I was like, okay, she's just a good Australian. Yeah.
you bite off each end of the biscuit and then you use it as a straw with your hot drink. So you basically suck your hot drink through the biscuit so it goes soggy kind of on the inside.
Wow.
And then, as the name says, you slam it into your mouth before it breaks into the cup.
No.
And you eat it whole.
Okay, let's give this a whirl. Right.
I have to say it's delicious.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Dip it in
Yeah.
and then just start sucking until you feel the tea come through. And then slam it in your mouth before it breaks.
I polished off that whole packet once they left.
Interestingly, you both wanted to know from each other what cartoon would define your childhood.
Okay.
So what have you got? Let's have a bit of nostalgia. Why don't you go first, Sophie?
Okay. Probably there's a group of kind of shows, I would say, more than cartoons. So kind of Disney Channel from about 2007 to 2010. So we're talking like Hannah Montana, Lizzie McGuire, That's So Raven.
You do give me
all
Lizzie
of those.
McGuire
I
vibes.
love Lizzie McGuire.
I think the hairstyle. Can you picture?
Yes.
Yeah.
The blonde.
This is
Yeah.
very Hilary Duff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Big Hilary Duff fan.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'd go Lizzie McGuire's probably
Wow.
the closest to me.
Wow. That's a very good one.
Imagine it's exactly the same.
Well, I think for me, it'd be Tintin, you know?
Tintin!
Yeah. Well, growing up, I loved the fact this man was on an adventure with a little snowy dog. You know, all sorts of adventures as a journalist. And I think that might have inspired me to go into journalism for a few years. Just that, you know, I think I might have some of the looks as well. The wee, maybe it's a bit of quiff, maybe a bit of a quiff, you know what I mean? It was just that sense of being on adventure. And he'd go on really weird expeditions. But years later, I then watched all of Tintin on Netflix when it came on. I just was that obsessed with it. And having now grown up a bit more, there was only one episode he filed a story. I thought, if he was actually a journalist, he would actually get the sack. But he'd probably have a good time.
Absolutely. So something Sophie wanted to know from you, Rory, as well, about your faith, is what do you think God's trying to say to you at the moment?
Oh, that's a very good one. So, as someone who's quite a big heart for, you know, wanting to see how people come to their Jesus, to share Jesus with people, recently I was at a conference and you're up high, yes, you know, and things were said to me that, yes, you have that gifting, you have that anointing, in that sense of, yeah. I was like, yeah, I was on that high, yeah, I want to share the gospel with a colleague. The next day, it didn't happen. But then it came to the Wednesday and I was going through a difficult time with my work, which I've had to leave, but at the end of that day, a colleague asked me, so how did that meeting go with your boss? I said, I had nothing to say apart from it was terrible. But I said to her, and in the midst of just nearly bursting in tears, that, you know, I'm so glad for Jesus, so glad for the church, because without them, I wouldn't have got through. I wouldn't have got through this. I wouldn't get through it. So that's the big lesson: is that sometimes it's not in the highs that you often learn what God challenges you to do. It's always in the lows, and that often, that was not what I was expecting. So when I prayed for an opportunity, that's the opportunity that came. So
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah.
And Rory wanted to know from you, Sophie, how do you keep God central in your relationships?
Great. I think probably the key thing is prayer. Just always communicating with God. I think from quite a young age, I've always seen God as a kind of best friend that you have kind of on speed dial. So it's never like, oh, I need to go away and pray. It's just a conversation I'm always having with him in my head. So whenever I'm in situations with friendships or family, and I'm not sure what to do or not sure how to act, then I just go, God, what do I need from you to help me in this? Or how can I steer this conversation so it kind of reflects you? Or how can you help me to help this person? So just being in that constant communication with him helps relationships.
That's great.
All right, let's chat to them one-on-one to see how they think it's going.
Are you having a good time?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Like, as I said, I've never done this before, and
Very
I've been on a
few
date
people
for a very
have.
long
Yeah.
time either.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to like do too much research to scare me off.
Okay.
So
yes,
that's
fair
why I was
enough.
like, I'll watch a few episodes so I know kind of the gist of it, but going kind of open-minded.
Okay. And do you think that you'll probably want to take a third person on all of your dates going forwards?
It's not been a bad experience.
And what do you think of Rory?
He seems really nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he obviously
lovely.
very like friendly, chatty, quite bubbly. Yeah, seems like a nice person.
Yeah. What do you think of our Sophie?
Oh, she's really, really smiley. Comes across really, shines brightly. Yeah, this just seems to be very easy-going. Though I don't think we've quite got even past the surface yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's still,
Yeah.
Still
She feels she's holding her cards close to her chest.
a little bit. I think
Yeah.
maybe I'm quite a bit more of an open book. That's you probably gathered. That's okay.
Yeah.
But that's just well. That's
There
just
we go.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, I just really enjoy kind of your personality, your bubbliness, very friendly. And yeah, just love your sense of adventure as well, from obviously the different stories you've shared, and your closeness with your family is really nice.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I think what I've seen in you is that, we've only heard the tip of the iceberg, is that you really love hospitality. It's something I really quite value in myself, I think you're a very hospitable kind of person, always want to provide tea and biscuits, and I think, that's quite a very good sign. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so we don't have a match, I'm pretty sure. But fun was had by all, and those URLs are almost certainly going to be ready for the click-in.
This is the part where our couple choose between IRL or URL. If they both pick IRL, in real life, we'll send them off on a date without the cameras so they can get to know each other a little better. But if one or both of them go for URL, it's not been a match, and we'll put a link, or URL, in the notes below so that you can get in touch with them directly to ask them out yourself.
I had a really fun time. It was really great to get to know you and hear a little bit about your family and your experience. Just didn't really feel kind of the instant connection today, but yeah.
No, that's absolutely fine. I had a nice time with the Tim Tams, and
Yep.
I'm not sure I've perfected that in the same way I haven't perfected ice skating, but it's been a lovely time. But I thought, well, maybe there's room to explore, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Guys, it sadly wasn't a match, but that is great news for you, because you can ask out Rory and Sophie using the URL below.
If you like discussing the theology of films and in your languages like to go a bit double Dutch and while eating stroopwafels, then why don't you send me a message?
If you'd like to do a Tim Tam slam with me or learn a little bit of ice skating, then you can drop me a message with the link below.
If you want to join me on Salt's third wheel dates, you can apply using the link below. I might make you show off your ice skating moves or whip up an alcohol-free cocktail, but it'll all be fun and games, and if it isn't a romantic match, it doesn't matter, because we'll give viewers at home the opportunity to ask you out with the URL in the show notes. And you never know who could be watching.